I bring to you yet another documented case of what many of us call Trump derangement syndrome. People risking their lives, risking their freedom just to quote unquote resist Trump. Now, this case is of a DC staffer, intern, whatever they want to call themselves, doxing several GOP senators simply because they support Brett Kavanaugh, our next Supreme Court justice, who has been accused of sexual assault by Christine Blasey Ford and maybe one or two other women. Credible or not credible, I guess they don't really care. They're just interested in trying to stop whoever is supportive of Kavanaugh. Now, this individual was or is an intern of both Dianne Feinstein and Sheila Jackson Lee. But we'll get into the article to see what's going on, to see what kind of criminal penalty they're facing, which they are facing, and much more. But let's get into the article to see what it says. And you see the headline right over my shoulder. It says, ex-Democratic staffer charged with posting senator's private info. All right. And the article reads, a man accused of doxing several GOP senators was caught on Tuesday night inside the office of Senator Maggie Hassan. Now, I think she is in Boston. Her last name is Hassan, but she is not Arab or anything like that. She's just a regular white woman. By a Hassan staffer who then called the police on the man, according to a person familiar with the matter. The U.S. Capitol Police on Wednesday arrested Jackson A. Cosko, not the store. His name is spelled Cosko, 27 years old, for posting addresses and private information of senators, according to the police department. A former Hassan Democrat from New Hampshire staffer, Cosko made an unauthorized entry into her Capitol Hill office on Tuesday evening, which led to his arrest, the person familiar with the matter said. Now, unauthorized entry, what does that mean? Are you talking about breaking and entering? See, now you're getting into some really, really criminal stuff. This is going just beyond this, so-called resist movement, all right? Because when I hear about resist, I'm thinking about guys and girls outside holding signs, screaming and hollering, this, that, and the third. This person has gone to a new level. They're breaking into people's actual offices. And you can't do that, but let's continue. Hassan's office declined to comment. Cosko most recently worked for Hassan as a, quote, legislative correspondent systems administrator, according to Legistorm. Cosko left Hassan's office in May. Cosko is due in U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia on Thursday. So if you're talking about sysadmin, this is somebody that has access to sensitive information, or they could gain access to it if they know how to get around certain things. Really, they have access to the individual. So if they have access to the individual, they're also able to finagle their way into private information, which is exactly what they are now being accused of doing. The department reported that it arrested Cosko for allegedly posting private identifying information, doxing. That's what that is. When you release things people don't want out there, phone numbers, addresses, social security numbers, very personal information, that is called doxing, about one or more United States senators to the internet. Cosko has been working as an intern in the office of Democratic Representative Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas and has been fired, according to our chief of staff, Glenn Rushing. And what they don't mention in this is from Politico, by the way, what they don't mention in this is that he also was an intern for Dianne Feinstein. So we can just put two and two together that way. Quote, we're just cooperating with law enforcement right now, Rushing said in an interview. Cosko graduated from the George Washington University in 2014 and previously worked for Hassan and California Democratic Senator Barbara Boxer, who has since retired. Interesting. Last week, the Wikipedia pages of Senators Mike Lee of Utah, Orrin Hatch of Utah, and Lindsey Graham of South Carolina were altered to show their addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. Now, the phone number I heard wasn't correct. It was to some advocacy group for sexual assault survivors or something like that. But the addresses and email addresses were correct from what I've been able to read. The information was posted during an extraordinary hearing in which Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford testified about Ford's accusation that Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her in 1982. All three are GOP senators who are supportive of Kavanaugh. Cosko has been charged with making public restricted personal information, witness tampering, threats in interstate communications, unauthorized access of a government computer, identity theft, second-degree burglary, and unlawful entry. So all those charges right there, he's going to the penitentiary. If this man doesn't go to the penitentiary, you already know what's up. The fix is in. The deep state is all over that. Because you're talking about unauthorized access of a government computer. That's a very, very serious allegation that won't be taken lightly at all. When you're dealing with the federal government and you committing crimes against them, they're not going to take that lightly. A bot that tracks edits to Wikipedia pages found that the changes were made from a computer on Capitol Hill on the House side. Quote, the investigation will continue and additional charges may be forthcoming. The police said Cosko remained in custody Wednesday evening and was due to appear before Judge Deborah A. Robinson in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia on Thursday. Well, there you have it. It's a pretty short and sweet article, but this is what happens. These people, these quote unquote resistors, they get on Capitol Hill and they figure they can do pretty much whatever they want. You know, they can just break into somebody's office and steal stuff, post it on the internet, and they won't get caught. These people aren't very smart. All right. If you are on a government computer, you know that's being tracked. You know there's cameras everywhere. You think you're going to be able just to break into somebody's a senator or somebody like that? I mean, come on. This reminds me of The Wire. If you ever seen that, it was one particular scene where, kind of a long story if you've not seen the actual show before, but to sum it up, you have this crime syndicate, these guys selling drugs basically, and one of the guys is trying to, walk the straight and narrow. He's trying to get away from the gangbanging and from the dope boy ism. He's trying to be a legitimate businessman, right? So he takes his dope money and decides to get in bed with the mayor on some, investment in some real estate or something like that. Well, the mayor is corrupt and played him basically. Now the dope boy turned businessman, but still dope boy, is upset and he wants to kill the mayor and his friend, the other guy that's in charge, because these are the two guys in charge. The other guy's like, wait a minute, hold on. You can't be getting this guy over here who is a foot soldier to go and kill a mayor. You're talking about an employee of the government. You're going to have the whole world send up and take notice when you do something like that. It's like trying to assassinate a political figure. Like if you just shoot a random person on the street, it won't really be that big of a deal. Maybe to their friends and family, but beyond that, not really. But if you try to kill a president, like imagine the life of the person who tried to kill Ronald Reagan or JFK. I mean, so you think you're going to break into a senator's office or a house rep or something like that and steal information, then post it online and not get caught, please? They can see you. They probably are watching you from a room right there on Capitol Hill. But these people are so blinded by their need to resist, they don't even think about common sense. And this person is old enough to understand that. 27, I mean, come on. You should have some kind of idea about how the world works. You know you can't go in there and just do whatever. But then again, Trump derangement syndrome makes people do very absurd things. So what do you think? Do you think that this staffer was made to do this? Did he have a battery put in his back, as the kids put it? Do you think he acted on his own? Is there a greater thing here? Is it a tip of the iceberg, this guy? Because I've seen videos from James O'Keefe of Project Veritas where he's speaking to people on Capitol Hill, staffers, interns, or whatever, and they're saying there's a lot of us that are trying to resist from the inside. So maybe this guy is one of many. Either way it goes, I hope they all get found out, all get just expelled from Capitol Hill. This is what Trump talks about when he says drain the swamp. Not only the corrupt political figures who we all know, your Jeff Snowflakes and whatnot, but also the people that work in ancillary roles on Capitol Hill that contribute to the swamp, stay in the swamp. They all got to go. This guy right here, hopefully he gets some football numbers in his federal penitentiary sentence. I'd be happy about that. But do you think that's going to happen? Will he have some high-powered lawyer, George Soros, or somebody else funded come to his defense, similar to the way they're doing right now with Christine Blasey Ford? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below.